What's up, everybody? My name's Jump, and today we are going to talk about Red Blue Ping again. This is the deck I ran in the 121 person event ran by Egman. He is a event runner and YouTuber. I signed up super last minute this morning. He had a kind of late registration that was open, and I don't know, 15, 20 some people or something like that. And I saw it like 30 minutes before it was going to start, and I was like, heck, I got a free Sunday, let's try it. So I signed up, and I ended up 6th overall. And yeah, just want to do a deck tech on it. A lot of people were asking questions and probably want to know how the deck worked and stuff. I will go ahead and explain some of the things that I faced, and also all my different matchups and, different things that kind of stood out to me. I wrote down little tidbits and notes, but I'll do my best here to explain, kind of my thought process and everything behind all that. But overall, I did go, let's see here, we did 7 rounds of Swiss, and then we top cut to 8. So in the Swiss rounds, I went 6-1, and then once I went into the top cut, I lost my first round, which was a best of 3 against a mirror match. And it was just, my opponent had just better draws and links at the right time compared to me. But yeah, I'll talk about it a little bit. We got, of course, the deck here. We'll talk about that first. Just kind of want to show you guys these custom EX space and EX resources. Now, I could not use this in the event because they wanted official cards, understandable. But I've been using these at my locals, and a lot of compliments. It looks really good. You can find these on Etsy. There's some Char ones as well. And I just ordered some for my Wing Gundam deck that I just built as well. But onto the deck. If you watched my last video, I haven't changed it too much. I didn't really make a video on it, but I did try running the Sailor Mass package with Delta Plus, some more gun cannons, the Jeggins, and, that Earth Federation type of thing. So it was kind of going more blue, and I think the only red card, honestly, was maybe Kshatriya, Marida, and maybe a Close Combat or something like that, and Vesalius, of course, because I love Vesalius as a base. I didn't really like it. I don't like running more than 8 pilots personally. I just feel like it can clog your hand, and even with 8 pilots, sometimes it clogs your hand, or you don't see them. And that's kind of just the luck of the draw and the way, TCGs work. Can't control that. But I like running 8 pilots. I feel like that's very consistent for me so far. And honestly, in all the decks that I've made, the Xeon mid-range deck I've played and the Wing deck that I've played, I usually only run 8 pilots. But yeah. So, of course, we got 4 Maridas here. I'm going to put the deck over here real quick. Marida, she is the bread and butter of this deck. She pairs with Kshatriya, the vanilla unit, and of course the LR unit that I run, and then also, of course, Unicorn Banshee mode. But yeah, during Link again, she can attack choose one enemy unit, level equal to or lower, deal 1 damage to it. That did come into play a couple of times where the level is too high, so you can't ping it, but, it pings mostly anything below level 5, because you'll usually want to pair this with an LR. But, other cases, you'll pair it with the level 4 Kshatriya and ping that way. So, love her, best alt art in the game. And I think she's just going to get better as more Cyber New Type and Neo Xeon cards get released. The other pilot, of course, Mr. Amuro Ray, rest of 5 HP unit when paired. Just gets around blockers. It can rest certain things so you can swing into them. And, you can put this on the RX-78 Gundam starter deck one. You can put this on the gun cannons. You can put these on anything just to get that rest. And sometimes resting is really good. Sometimes resting doesn't do too much. It kind of just depends. But this is all about efficiency here. Just like the pings. You got to make sure you do your math correctly with the pings. But Amuro, of course, is a great card. One of the best pilots in set 1 right now. With the starter decks and all. Going into the 1-drops, we have level 2-1 here, Mr. Jim, GM, just a 2-2 vanilla. And I'm going to go right into the other 2-2 vanilla of Jin. I like having at least, like, total, technically, and I also have gun tanks. And they kind of all do their separate jobs here. But the vanillas will get played early, so the good start turn is, if you're going first, you'll want to double drop these on turn 2 when you have 2 resources, and then the next turn do Vesalius to buff one of those by +1 AP to destroy the EX base, and you get a free attack onto their shield, unless, you know, they play a blocker or something. And then if you are going second, of course, you can, you know, you just play it on your first turn, technically, because you have the EX resource. So just efficiency here with the 2 drops. I like playing this deck more aggro-y if I can, and apply the pressure so opponents can be more reactive to me, and I'm the one that they have to deal with or swing into more. So gun tank, of course, also the other 1 drop, level 2 1 cost. Choose a rested unit, 1 damage to it. It's a 1-2, just super cheap ping, just 1 damage, boom. I remember one of my games, I think it was round 5, I deployed 3 gun tanks, which is what I had in the hand, and I think I played a Shell Resolve beforehand, to do 3 damage into a wing gun that was paired with Hero, which was really funny, just to have 3 gun tanks in hand to do that. My opponent was kind of dumbfounded a bit, because I killed his big body, and I had 3 bodies on board that could all swing in the shield, so it was pretty hilarious. Gun tank, I would not really cut them, personally. I run 4 Rizels. Some people run 2, some people run 3. I like 4 because they go into lift rifts, and lift rifts are the boon to the existence of this deck. Hopefully I used that term right. Rizels swing into lift rift, and they survive with 1 HP. So, just a good 4 stat line, very well costed with the 3 and the 2. Another thing that I kind of learn, or kind of how I do my math when I'm adding cards to any deck I play, if you add the level and the cost, you get 5, and then just +1. That gives you 6, right? Taking that number, the level, cost, +1, doing a little algebra here, what is the stat line also equal? So this one is 6, right? Stat line is 4 + 3, that's 7. So it is overstated, technically, from this equation by 1. If it had a link, that's another point on the stat line. If it had any text inside, that's another point. So, for example, gun tank, say it equals 4, that's 3, and then the effect itself gives it 1. So 4 and 4, so it's just equal, but the way it pings it doesn't affect here. And then again, the vanillas are equally static, because the 2 plus the 1 plus the 1 equals 4, which is the AP HP. Hopefully that made sense to people. But again, Rizel, it's overstated for its cost and level, so I love it. Going into the other 3 drop, or 2 drop, I don't know, level 3, yeah, is the gun cannon. I run 3 of them, repair 1. When paired, you can rest a 2 HP or less unit. So pairing this or linking it with Amuro Ray lets you rest 5 HP or less, and then also 2 HP or less. So that makes you able to trade into those things, or again, rest down a Zawart and a Lifrith, and then you could swing into it. Later, we'll talk about Amuro Ray and Gundam, the starter deck Gundam, because that, you know, just trades really efficiently into a lot of things. But Gun Cannon can be a little sneaky, you know. They don't expect it. He does have the white base trait there. We run 2 Anxias. I dropped it down from my old list. I don't really like Anxia. If anything, that'll probably be the first cut I'll make and do something else. Sometimes it matters, sometimes it doesn't. The 3 HP does survive at least certain aggro decks that are running the 2/2s like red blue does, and of course has the same effect as gun tank, ping 1 when a unit is rested or on a rested unit. And then the other 4-2 I run is the vanilla Kshatriya 3-4. It's just a linkable unit to Marida, cyber new type trait there at the bottom. So this one's technically overstated because again 4 plus 2 is 6 plus 1 is 7, so that equals the 3 plus 4 for the HP and AP, and the trait gives it an extra point. So overstated by 1 point from the little equation there. Now we have, going into the other and last level 4, of course we have Mr. Gundam. RX-78 starter deck. Repair 2 during pair. All your units get AP plus 1. So all of these guys, all these early guys you've played before turn 4 gets plus 1. And that can also help break EX spaces. It helps the Rizal swing into 5, technically 6 AP bases if you got the Vesalius, so that can come in handy. Gundam itself goes to 6 AP, so that does block the 6 HP bases that Wing Gundam decks run, and that did come in handy quite a bit on those Wing Gundam matchups. And again, plus the Rizal swinging for 5, and these are all cheap units that sometimes you already have on board, and when you have your 4 resources, you know, a Gundam and an Amuro link is always such a tempo swing that you take from your opponents, and at that point your percentage of winning just kind of shoots through the roof most of the time. If I'm able to get an Amuro and a Gundam on curve, it's just kind of game over from there, especially against lift rifts. When you swing into lift rifts because you're tapping it, swing into it, almost like 90% of the time I will do that. The repair 2 just negs the damage that it took from lift rift, and now your opponent either needs to swing or trade something straight into it because it's 5 HP, 5 AP at that point. So very good card, and it's a blue staple for a reason. Alright, on to one of my favorite and best units ever. We got the Kshatriya LR. If you don't know what that does, again, when paired with new type or cyber new type, choose 1 to 2 enemy units, deal 1 damage to it. So it does pair with both of these. It links with Marida. So sometimes I do have to do the Amuro into Kshatriya. Can't attack that turn, but you can still do the 1-in-1 damage, which comes up more often than you think. Came up in a couple of my matchups where I just didn't have Marida. But, you know, I had Amuro, go ahead and rest a unit, and then do the 1 and 2 damage there. So, you know, clear small things if I need to. Or make things trade more efficiently if they have to swing back into my rested units that I played earlier again. We got all of these right here. So, Kshatriya, yeah, you know, becomes a 7-5 with either pilot there, and then just puts in a lot of work. It kills all the aggro decks as long as you do your pings efficiently. Even 1-year rush. You know, I think I played against 1-year rush, and honestly, yeah, Kshatriya just put in work. I know most people run 2 Banshee destroy modes. I just run 1. So just 1 Banshee. I did get it off in 1 game in my, I think it was in the finals with the best of 3 against the mirror match. Unfortunately, it couldn't help because the guy he drew more units than me. I kind of got stuck with my command cards. So, but I was able to get it off, and, you know, playing in locals and things like that, I've gotten off a couple of times for wins, and, you know, it's a great card. You know, it gets 2 attacks in the turn as long as you have 12 things in your trash to shuffle back into your deck, and it gets first strike for each of those, so it just clears board. Just 7 AP into whatever the heck you want. So I don't think I need to. I like it at 1. It's more of a win more card. By the time, if you can get this to actually activate, then you should be winning, or it's just kind of like a Hail Mary and hope you win after that type of thing. Usually you want to kind of defeat your opponents before level 5, preferably, or even level 6. I know a couple of these wing decks I played, I did beat them on turn 5, or level 5, however you want to say it, before they were able to get to like the Wing Gundam and like the Depth Scythes and things like that. You just want to aggro those decks as fast as you can. So those are the units. Now we're going to go into the command cards. We run 2 Close Combats and 2 Battle of Aces. Close Combat, burst or main or action. Destroy, sorry, not destroy. Choose 1 enemy unit, deal 2 damage to it. I like this split. Battle of Aces on burst does 2 damage as well, but its main and action, you deal 3 damage as long as there's damage on the unit. The only reason I split this, because I prefer to run Close Combat, is the reason I even put these in here is just for lift rifts. Lift rifts are just so annoying. Even Ale Strikes without key repairs can kind of make the math work here. Sometimes I will swing my 2/2s into those Kiras and then just Battle of Aces afterwards, you know, if I need to, because they'll have 5 HP. I like this split. Again, some people don't like, you know, Battle of Aces. It just gets stuck. It's very situational because you need to have damage. And, you know, if you don't run like the Ankshas and only run like 4 gun tanks and the Kshatriyas, then, you know, there's a thing to take these out and put something else instead. And I can see that. So, now there are some bad trades I definitely did in the tournament, just because again these the lower decks with the mirrors or things that are playing rush, you know, this is just a card that gets stuck in hand because everything they run has like 2 or 3 HP, and by the time you can swing into those, they're already dead. By that point, they're destroyed. So Battle of Aces just gets stuck in hand, and I know I had a couple times where I wish I had anything else but Battle of Aces. But, you know, it has saved my skin other times as well, so I like the 2 at the moment. I think I'll keep it as is, or maybe I'll take them out and try throwing 4 Close Combats in the deck instead. The other command we got is Show of Resolve. Show of Resolve, everybody knows what that does. Draw 2 cards. Yeah, nothing too crazy. I only run 2. Some people run 3, some people run 4, some people run none. 2 is good enough for me. If I see it and, you know, I get a free turn, like an opponent doesn't really play anything, or maybe they just drop some blockers, I will just go ahead, Show of Resolve, draw 2, and kind of get ready for the next turn. Otherwise, 2 is good. I don't get clogged with it in hand. If I see it, usually I'm able to play it out and draw 2 cards. If I don't see it, all good. That means I'm either getting units or one of my damage commands to do damage to something. We're going to move on to bases here. We got 3 Vesalius. And then we also have 2 Corsicas. I threw the Corsicas in kind of recently because I was on 4 Vesalius, and I love Vesalius as a base. It just makes my 2/2s 3 instead, and then Rizal, you know, into 5. And it just makes some trades very efficient and just like a no-brainer. It helps me clear EX bases super early with all my 2/2s, and I don't have complaints. Honestly, I would run 4 because why not? Corsica, oops, little pricey, but such good value. You play it for 3, you draw a card off your shield area, and you get to play a unit as well. Like, why would that not be good? The first time you play it, you'll get a 4/2, and then once a Corsica's in the trash, you'll get 2 1/1s, and those 2 1/1s have helped me in a lot of games to do that last couple of swings. So it just puts multiple bodies on board, and then I'll be able to swing or kind of show lethal with the number of bodies I have on board. So I think it's good with 2, and then the 3 Vesalius, 5 bases total. And that's the deck. I mean, it is something I enjoy running. You know, a lot of haters for red-blue, but you could say that about a lot of decks. You know, it just kind of just efficient. It can swarm. You can play the late game depending on some decks. I know some people are running these greed Japanese decks with like Shamblo at the end there, and like the more banshees and things like that. I've tried it just kind of online, and it's pretty fun. Like when it gets there, it gets there, but there's like no early game, and I am an aggro player at heart, but I don't really enjoy the aggro decks too much if I'm trying to play this game competitively. I feel like the mid-range tempo-y decks just kind of cater to the playstyle that I feel that I need to do in Gundam, you know. But most other card games I play are aggro decks. I tend to play aggro decks normally. So, like I said, I can totally play this aggro with all the low drops, and then, you know, the big units are just Kshatriya, really, and that's really it, you know, just swarm and swing. And you gotta watch your trades, watch your bases, you know, rest the right blockers at the right time, use these command cards at the right time, and yeah. I will talk about some matchups here. I know it's a little long video, but if you're sticking around and get a little insight here. Again, it was 7 rounds of Swiss, started at 10 a.m. Pacific time. So long, lot of rounds. It took a while, and then top cut to 8. And I did, like I said, end up going 6th overall in the tournament out of the 121 people. First round, I got, let's see, a red-white Zaft deck. So, red-white Zaft, I don't really have any issues with it. The only thing I will just mention, if you will ever fight a Zaft deck, is kill Buster Gundam and kill anything that gives support. Because they need to make their stuff 5 AP for those effects to go off, to get the breaches, to get the damage from Legao or whatever the heck. Just kill their support units. And Buster Gundam is such a nice trade with like an Armoro Gundam, because, you know, you don't take the damage back, even the Legaos, Bakus or whatever. Yeah, so I honestly have no issues against Zap decks there. I feel like this deck has like a over 60% win rate with Zap decks. If anything, I've never lost to a Zap deck. So, round 2. Oh, by the way, I did write down if I went first or second. So round 1, I did go first against the Zap deck. So just in case someone's keeping track or someone cares. But I just went wide, killed their support units, killed Buster, just kept it off the board, and yeah, couldn't really do much against me. Round 2, I also went first. It was against green-red Zaku mid-range. So he did play Sinanju and things like that. I guess maybe my opponent wasn't drawing correctly. Not correctly, I should say. He was playing on curve. He had the Char Zaku, he had the Char Pilot on 3 resources and things like that, but I just got really good links. I think I did a double Kshatriya drop with Marida, and then I played another one with Amuro to just kind of clear his board. And when you play Kshatriya linked with Marida, that just kills all their units on board. Like, if you do things efficiently, it just wipes. That's a board wipe in itself against a Zaku deck. And he just didn't draw Sinanju at all. I had 2 shields left at the end of it, and then yeah, I just kind of did the 2. Dropped 1 here with Marida, and then the next turn I think I dropped another one with Amuro, and just pinged everything. Round 3, I played against blue-white. So this was my only loss in Swiss, and I will say the new tech was the Sword Strike link. It's the one where you can link it with Kira or an Earth Alliance, and on attack it bounces a 2 HP or less unit. I just left that guy on the board a little too long, so he was just bouncing all my 2-drops, which was mad annoying. But I only drew 1 pilot the entire game after a mulligan, and I did go first that game. So I think I only drew an Amuro. It was way too late. It was like turn 4 or 5. That was not going to do anything. I wasn't playing on curve and things. Yeah, I just didn't draw well, unfortunately. But, you know, props to that guy. That Sword Strike put in a lot of work. So I pretty much wrote down that is a kill on sight for this deck. I just need to destroy the Sword Strike if people are playing that card. But otherwise, I mean, yeah, the blockers and everything. Yeah, usually with blue-white, you just want to aggro them before they get to, like, the Ale Strikes and get to, like, Freedom level. And, you know, if they're running the Unicorns, try to aggro them before that turn. and just kind of rush them. But yes, Kill Sword Strike. Super annoying card. Round 4. I went second this one. My first time going second in the tournament, and this was against Green White Wing. Won that. Yeah. I think I asked my opponent. He drew, or he mulliganed into a Def Scythe, the level 6 wing, and then 3 duos. I did win by turn 5, so I just got the very efficient aggro with the 2 drops, I believe, had the Vesalius, swung in the EX base. He didn't really have blockers or anything, kind of played them a little late, and I just swung and, yeah, won before turn 5, so that's how you got to play against Wing. Just kind of aggro as fast as you can. Even if they're playing blockers, swing into the blockers and just trade if you can, and then you'll be able to get your link units in the later turns to kind of swing over. Round 5, I went second. It was another Green Wing deck. I also won by turn 5 on that game. Didn't really say he got stuck. I mean, I think he was doing damage to me. It was kind of, back and forth. But he just could not get to level 6. He didn't draw ramp or anything like that. So again, you can't play Def Scythe or Wing if you get destroyed before you get to level 6. So that's what I did. I won before he got to level 6, and it worked out in my favor. Round 6 was the 1 year rush deck. So the 1 year war rush deck. I did go first. Corsica bases went really well there, I believe. I was down to my last shield, so I mean, it was close game. And he just had no bases, I believe, is what I wrote down. So it was kind of like neck and neck. So it was close, but just kind of efficient trades. The pings going over. I can't remember if he played any chars. I think he had one. Yeah, one char, and then I know he played a couple Amros. So just again, that's kind of like a 50-50 matchup depending on who draws better. And then the last round of Swiss was against another Green Wing deck. Now that one was unfortunate because I think my opponent had 3 Wing Zeros in his shield area, and I did get 3 link pairs on curve. So that was a very good draw for me. Bad luck to the Wing player, just couldn't ramp in time. Obviously, I did ask him, he only ran 3 Wing Zeros, so I was like, oh, that's rough. If they're all in your shield, you can't do nothing about that. So, and then after that was the end of the Swiss. So that was 7 rounds Swiss. Again, it went 6-1. I think the deck performed as best as it could, to the best of my piloting skills anyway. And then it was a top cut to 8. Round 8, I did go ahead and I can't remember if I went first or second. The first game, but I lost the first game. He again just kind of drew more links than me. I was aggro at first, so I was kind of trying to keep the tempo by being aggro, and then I started drawing too many command cards, and they kind of got stuck in hand because again they're playing low units. It was a pretty much mirror match, and my battle vases couldn't really do too much until later. And then he kind of stole tempo in one turn with a Gundam, and just kind of kept swinging at me, and I couldn't really capitalize with the units that I had in hand, and I didn't really get efficient links. And then round 2, I got to choose, so of course I went to go second, and that was kind of like very similar to what happened in the first round. I was just drawing bad, unfortunately, compared to what he was doing, and he was just able to drop more units than me. I did get a really good turn with like Kshatriya to be able to ping 2 things and swing in a shield, pop a unit, and then I had a Taugeese token to destroy his Gundam that was paired. And if I had more shields, I could have swung some tempo, but I was already kind of low at that point. And yeah, just couldn't do too much. So the mirror match is a little iffy. I don't really know. It's just you either gotta keep up the aggression or you gotta be the more control-y deck. I try to be the more aggressive deck, like I said earlier. That's kind of like the playstyle I like, and then it just ended up kind of biting me in the butt because I didn't drive or draw my units or draw my links at the right time compared to him. So, but all good. He did end up going to the final table against a blue-white deck. Yeah, it was Unicorn and Blockers, which I watched the finals, and he ended up going second place. So, but yeah, that is the red-blue ping deck that I brought to, again, Egman's 121 player tournament today. So yeah, hopefully that gives you guys some insights. I will drop the link in the description, and feel free to do what you will. I'm gonna keep bringing this to locals though. I'm gonna keep fine-tuning it. I will likely probably play this at the new type challenges that I signed up for. So I have 5 here in my area that I was able to get into. I'll get my play set of Overflowing Affection. And then, yeah, I'm going to probably at least do 4. Maybe I'll play the wing deck or something for fun on my last new type challenge, depending on how I do. And then I was able to also get into the LA regionals. So that I will decide if I'm going to play this deck or not, or maybe switch it up. So I think by the time LA comes around, the purple deck will be available. So we'll see what the other purple cards are, because that might change up the meta a tad bit, you know, whatever cards are in there. Alright, well, thank you for watching, guys. I will catch you next time.